Time for the show! Time for the show!
Cannot send to channel. Oh, that tells us that the show started. That tells us the show's actually officially started, everyone. Oh no. It's time for the show here on Free Think Radio. It's gonna be a different kind of free form of Free Think Radio time for the show, because as everybody knows, Fidd is dead. That's right, he's dead. We have no idea what's going on. And Argus Fox has recently been poisoned to the effect of not being able to actually be on the show, but is still guiding the show with his capable radio technician, engineer, producer hands. And we are now filling up the chat room with all kinds of guest hosts. We've had this show in the planning just in case. We've always got a disaster show in the books just in case we need to have a show. So I'd like to introduce our co-host for the night. Bob, please speak up, introduce yourself, let the kids know who you are.
Greetings and felicitations, fellow humans. I am Reverend Bob Dapper.
Now, Bob is a difficult name to take as a church name. Is it any relationship to any of your real names, or we dead name you on the air? But, you know, Bob, usually we turn a blind eye to guy that calls themselves Bob in the Church of the Subgenius.
Well, yeah, it's my legit real world name. Yeah.
Okay, well that's a bold move. I give my address out every week though, so I think it's not a big deal for people to know your dead name.
For sure.
Well, you know, some people they're touchy about it. Some people are like, you know, if you were to dead name Argus Q Fox, that would be a mistake, my friend. That would be a terrible mistake.
Terrible mistake that you.
So what'd you spend your day doing, Bob? I spent my day searching for images of Fidd online.
I spent my day doing stuff I can't talk about.
Nice.
And then when I got home from work, I basically just screwed around on Discord. That's about it. Played video games.
So for those people who don't know, Bob here works at Area 51 on the Black Oil Project, and he gets to phone in. He doesn't have to fly there every day, but he's been there. He's poked his fingers into the holes of the aliens that they have there. Doesn't like to talk about it much. Just a little PTSD from it. But other than that, it's a good gig, right? If you can get it.
Well, if it existed, I would
say. If it existed, of course.
Oh, yeah.
If it wasn't just like a bit on a radio show broadcasting into 4 people's houses in Canada, that would be a good job. But in that it's just a bit, there's no,
well,
you know.
I'm just saying,
right?
Because of what I do, if it exists,
you couldn't talk about it. You
I
couldn't even talk about if
I
it
wouldn't
did
even
exist
be
or
able
not.
to tell you that the squiddly spooch is the most important organ.
The squiddly spooch. Now, I've had my squiddly spooch removed once, but I made him put it right back.
Ah, yeah. Okay, good. So you're a hybrid then. That's good.
Yeah, a hybrid.
That's great. That
Dude,
means that you'll live at least 5 years longer than your average human.
Oh, I doubt it. I doubt that. You gotta have a little degree of luck to live extra 5 years from a reptilian overlord, and or even just a regular human. But what is the Ferengi pronunciation denote, Bob?
What?
Well, you did the Ferengi pronunciation of human, which is human, as we learned in Deep Space Nine. So I'm curious as what the significance of that would actually be. Are there humans listening yet? What the fuck? Oh, I'm not even. Can you say? Are people listening on the radio? Oh, Argus Fox is not speaking. I forgot. I gotta quit asking him questions. We won't ask Argus any questions. He's really not even here in the studio.
All I'm saying is, if you would have just had your damn Latinum, this would all be different.
That's right. I always liked it when you walked into somebody's house in Ferengar, you had to put some money in the little slot for them to answer the door. I think that is a classic. That's what it's going to be like in Trump's second term. When he does his second term, we'll have those boxes all in place. Oh
man, we'll be back to capitalism 101. Everyone will be smoking in their homes next thing you know it, and offering alcohol when you come in the door.
You know what's crazy is you actually have people going, Nixon was not that bad. now that there's a real rod to compare things by, you're like, nice.
he wired a place up illegally to listen in on things illegally. Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. We've had a few presidents do that. He was the only one who got kicked out for it.
Put it in perspective, though. In today's time, that's the equivalent of leaving your cell phone with FaceTime on in your friend's house inadvertently. Like you pocket dial your dad and you put the phone down, you don't realize it, and everything's getting recorded by your old man or something. And you get home and he's like, "What were you doing drinking with them whores and smoking the marijuanas?" And you're like, "How the fuck does this guy know?" But it's because you left the iPhone in your buddy's car. And so really what all Nixon did, if you think about it, was master time and space and leave his iPhone, which didn't exist at the time. I will give you that. But in today's vernacular and times, it does exist. Was the president, I'm sure he had access to some kind of time travel mechanism. He just left it on.
We all know that Reagan stole the time travel machine to poop in the mouth of some 9-year-old.
Take that, Stalin. Think about it. That's probably what happened. Some guy goes back in time and bullies Stalin as a kid, and then like Stalin would have grown up to be like this artist, maybe like a math teacher that threw chalk at people. But because he was persecuted by some time traveler, it's I will grow up and kill every Jew I find in Soviet Russia.
Oh man, and it was the same. Whoever it was the same person. Yeah. They bullied Hitler, and then they went and bullied Himmler.
Yeah. I'll teach these guys.
Goebbels.
I don't want to kill him.
Every time he did it, the last thing they would see right before they got knocked out was his Star of David pendant.
You know what that denotes, dude? That denotes that time travelers are vegans.
Oh, damn it.
Because if you think about it, a vegan would never no matter what the reason, they're not going to kill an animal. And technically, I read this recent article today about humanzees, which are hybrid humans and chimpanzees.
Oh, so they tried that stuff back in the 20s,
many
man.
Many
That's
times.
Old news.
Listen, it might be news. It might be new news to some of our younger listeners. Nonetheless,
what are you saying? You call me old? Saying that 250 is too old?
I'm saying that
put down?
I'm saying time travelers have to be vegans because they never kill anybody. They just like you said, they shit in their mouth.
You're right.
Or
they never kill anybody and eat their body.
Right, so that must be they're vegans, and that's what makes me mad about vegans. You have this time travel technology, and you could solve many of the world's problems by going back and killing Stalin or Hitler, and all you do is go back and, like Hitler, they convinced to be a vegan. That was the extent of their time travel, and they're like, Adolf, have you thought about the cruelty of eating animals? And Adolf's like, that does seem kind of evil. This is fucked. I didn't be the vegetarian. No. Vegetarian's bad. Vegan. Pure fruit. Pure vegetables, Hitler. And Hitler did that, and it made him grumpy. And
never had enough nutrients.
Never had enough nutrients. Always got the low blood sugar. Always telling people, but again, you can't give it up because you got that smugness that comes with being a vegan. You can't.
That's why he had the cocaine. Got it.
I thought he was an amphetamine user. I'm not so sure it was cocaine with
He used the cocaine eye drops that the eye doctors give us now. His was way stronger.
Why can't we get those kind of eye drops anymore? Where is my cocaine eye drop dispensing doctor?
The only way you can get one is if you are an eye doctor. If you're a licensed optometrist, you can get it. But that's the only way you'd be able to get it.
Now, I heard that it used to be the rumor when I was a lad that dentists had access to pharmaceutical grade cocaine. And that all the dentists in the world were they were disco daddies with their pharmaceutical grade cocaine. Had all the bitches, and they were like rap stars. They were the rap stars of the 70s. They were the rap stars of the 70s, living large, throwing dollar bills out at the strip club, big hats. You ever seen dentists in big hats? It's crazy, man.
Really big hats.
They are pimped out when in the 70s, not now. They're much more conservative and subdued now. But I'm telling you, in the 70s, the late 70s, early 80s, dentists had it going on.
It's true. They were rocking it pretty hard. Out there in their white dental suits, dancing on the disco floor.
I will confirm that. I will confirm the party features of dentists.
So, how about we introduce the third party member?
It's Cosmo, right?
Hello?
Who is it?
I think he died.
Can you hear me?
There you are.
Yes, I am Cosmo. Read it.
That's
Who or what has killed Fidd Dooley?
Well, we suspect, Argus and I were talking about, it might be my water guy. My water guy a few weeks ago was plotting to kill me. And I talked about this on the air a couple times, and Fidd kept trying to get me to talk about it, and I didn't want to talk about it because obviously when your water guy is killing you, trying to kill you, you don't talk about it on the radio and let him know that you're wise to him. But I think because Fidd made such a big deal about it on air, that the water guy diverted his attention from me and has now killed Fidd.
It was in the plan all along. He wasn't just putting the fluoride in your water.
You're probably still on the list. It's just a matter of time.
But I'm delayed now. It's okay. I found a hole to hide in if I need it. So
there you go.
Right. You found that big hole out in the desert.
Yeah,
just big enough.
I was scared to go in it yesterday or Saturday, but if I had to, if my life was threatened, I think I could survive in it.
Yes, caves are fun.
But this did not look like a good cave, dude.
You have to get on the Saddam Hussein diet.
Yeah, you gotta go for some of that Bin Laden.
Now, why do you think the vegans didn't go back in time and try to save Saddam?
Oh, well, that's easy. He was a meat eater.
See? There you go. Now you're getting woke, dude. Now you're being woke and seeing the world how it truly is. Very proud of you. Very proud. The Hollow Earth. The Linkler. You know, I've been watching Rick and Morty. Everybody knows I'm big Rick and Morty fans, how I get all my scientific knowledge. Just had an episode about Linkler. It's a combination
of high IQ.
It's a hybrid between Abraham Lincoln and Adolf Hitler.
Oh, you mean Abradolf Linkler?
Yes, Abradolf Linkler. You can't say woke on the radio. We can't vote. No.
But can you stay
asleep on the voice of the dead man? Not with that attitude, you can't.
Well,
being torn apart by the duality of one's own being.
Just have to try a little hard.
It seems like it would sting. Think about this. Is that going to be the total, besides all the switches and gauges and meters that he has to run to watch the show, or to produce the show? Will that be that rasp from death's door That was Argus Q Fox saying, "You can't say that on radio." Will that be the only pearl of wisdom that we receive from his lyrical voice on this episode of It's Time for the Show here on Free Free?
I have a feeling that it's going to be the only thing we hear, but we'll hear it multiple times.
Maybe it's on loop. Maybe he's got like a little button he can press, a little soundboard.
Pearl of wisdom before swine's foolish.
Now, you guys are both into robots, right? I know Cosmos does all kinds of analog circuitry and made a wheel once out of like a log. So I mean, it's very scientific.
Everyone knows. It's
Expound
official
upon that a little bit.
It's official in the canon world now that when you're into robots, you build one wheel out of wood.
Yeah. Well, that's the ultimate machine, right?
Hey, are you the one who went back in time and dropped it? Messed everything up?
Dropped a roll of quarters and it rolled down the hill. Hey guys, give you any ideas?
Kills caveman, caveman looks, other caveman steals idea of wheel.
Some hog have proprietary right to wheel.
Well, they actually invented the steering wheel before the driving, which is kind of interesting if you think about it.
It is. It's pretty great. What would you be steering? See, I think that would work though, because like if it was snow time,
steer the wheel with it, obviously.
Well, but you wouldn't have to steer wheels with it. Like snowmobiles have like just those little, what do they call them? Tracks or whatever, the sled runners, and yet they got they got like a wheel that turns it left to right, so you could take sticks and hook up those steering wheel to them to get them to pivot. And that's probably advanced robots for cave people.
Yeah, I mean, ancient man was always getting around on a snowmobile made from like bamboo and string.
Who do you think ancient man talks about when he talks to his buddies? Like, we're talking about ancient man, but if you're ancient man, what group of humans do you reference in the past?
Well, if you're an ancient human of our, what would you say? I guess makeup. Then you would be talking shit about the Neanderthals and the Homo erectus. Cro-Magnon. Yeah. All those idiots with the bigger brains who had houses 40,000 years ago while we were living in fucking dirt and naked.
Of course you're speaking of Conan.
Of course.
Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, I find it super funny.
I thought you meant Conan the Destroyer.
Tries to immediately scream either aliens or something, or it's like something was like tens of thousands of years old, and it's like, well, I mean, humans are a thing, and there were also these really smart dudes called Neanderthals who had houses 40,000 years ago and advanced tools compared to what we had, which was nothing.
They had space shuttles, man. They had space shuttles where the floor opened up and they stuck their feet out and they had to like push against the ground to get to take off.
See,
about 15,000 years ago, man, those Neanderthals just hopped in their little rocket and flew away. They said, this shit's gonna get cold soon, we're out of here.
It's funny. Well, it's not funny, because it wasn't Neanderthals, it was Cro-Magnon. But in Quantum Leap, they did a whole bit. No, it wasn't Quantum Leap. What was that? What was that show where the Cro-Mags?
You're talking about Sliders, bro. Come on, sci-fi.
Sliders, that's it. I'm old. Yeah, Sliders. That was like a big antagonist in the Sliders.
A lot of hamburgers on that.
Oh, man. The Cro-Mags.
Oh, yeah,
and the Cro-Mags, they're always dressed like Nazis, so you know right away they're bad.
You know that they're bad guys. Yep, exactly.
There's no doubt in your mind. They didn't want to have any kind of audience sympathy for the Cro-Mags at all, so they dressed them all like Nazis. This will fix it. That's what you do now. When you have an unsympathetic character and you want to make sure the audience doesn't identify with it, you have to put them in a Nazi uniform. It's like when you go to film school, it's like the second day they teach you that. First day.
Well, now they're making everyone white. They're not just putting them in Nazi uniforms.
Well, yeah, but they did that with Neil Patrick Harris, and everybody still loves him.
Oh, he's beloved, dude. I love Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, but you can't destroy the Harris.
I think that my favorite human being would be a cross between Neil Patrick Harris and Timothy Oliphant. I think that would be much like a Peas type person. in both the good looks and intelligence departments. Perhaps I am that love child and just don't know it.
That's time travel.
This is time travel.
How
for
it
you.
works.
Now, we usually go to some kind of song or something, but I'm not sure if we have anything queued up for that. We just might have the dishwashing sounds queued up in the background. I don't know. No, that's just time warping.
That was me peeing into the sink. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
That's good. It is not a time for the show without one of the hosts peeing into something. It's an important aspect. It's part of the contractual obligations that we have with Free
there
Think
has
Radio.
to be a second Fidd.
There can only be one Fidd.
There can only be one.
Why is Henry Kissinger in the studio? Boy, that's
Sonic cracklings of our mixturation.
I was
Over the airwaves
shocked
to
to
you.
see that man is still alive.
That's crazy, right?
Oh my God.
New Kennedy, Eisenhower, Lyndon Johnson.
Dude,
here's
the dude himself took down all these different little governments and stuff and put in these little communist pocket guys, and everywhere that he did, everyone was like, we will kill him. He is a war criminal. And here we are fucking like protecting him and stuff, and he's just still alive and not murdered somehow.
Because he's a genius. He's a reptilian
Jesus
overlord.
Christ,
dude.
you're not kidding.
He's a reptilian overlord. Now,
His 90-year-old frame just suddenly sits up straight, his face elongates, and he goes right before he gets assassinated.
I'm getting concerned because my Grubhub has not arrived yet.
Maybe you told them the wrong house.
I don't think so. They've
That'll
delivered here
teach you to
before.
use these newfangled food ordering systems.
You told them to go to the house that is the outhouse, right? Not the actual house of the people whose property
They're
you're squatting
emailing
on.
it to you. They're only,
I got took this time. Like, here's the thing. All we wanted Red Robin Burger, right? And so we're getting all dialed in to get our hamburgers from Red Robin, to get the delicious flowers mostly. And all of a sudden, as I'm checking out, it's $8.99 delivery fee. The driver doesn't get any of that. It costs almost as much as a hamburger to have the damn thing delivered, and then I got to tip the guy on top of that.
Yep.
So I was like,
somebody does that. One of the pizza places.
I was like, well, okay, so that works out for my $11 hamburger, $9 delivery charge, $3 in tax because the state of Nevada's got to get their money. It's
Right,
like
Peas, when you order it online, all you're gonna get is the digital food. It's like
No.
That's why they have to charge so much, because they have to res it up through the internet right in front of you on your computer. I mean, you do have the teleportation thing plugged in, don't you?
Yeah, I don't have that.
Maybe that's why it's taking.
Mine only
I have
worked that one
a
time.
molecular 3D printer
Yeah, that's
that you can replicate yourself using scanners, and then it rebuilds you later on. But I haven't gotten to the point of being able to put your brain back in there and all your thoughts. So you're just kind of this childlike giant human body.
Yeah, don't put your
Kinda
head into the molecular scanner.
A typical subgenius. So it's funny, Cosmac, because I'm sitting here holding one of your 3D printed hypercubes. That you gave me at my very first X Day. I keep it up here with my X Day shrine and stuff. And do you still do a lot of 3D printing?
When I get the chance. I mean,
have you made yourself some shoes or anything from?
Hey Cosmac, how big is your 3D printer?
Big enough.
Like what's the build size?
Well, it's a can we say brand names on here? It's a MakerBot 2. So,
MakerBot 2,
MakerBot
sponsors of It's Time for the Show on Free Think Radio. MakerBot 2.
Yeah, no, you don't want them. They're kind of bunch.
Well, the one I have is garbage. I've shot through a full brain already.
It's
terrible.
That's the thing, is like you print this stuff out, but like first of all, like 90% of the designs you find are garbage anyway, like trinkets, G-jaws, gimcracks. And second of all, like unless you have a printer that can like really print in something good, you're printing in this polylactic acid, basically plastic that's made from corn, and it's not very strong.
Nug, say something on the radio. No, we're not picking up on that. So it's kind of bummed because one of the old timers trying to, it's probably not good radio, but what the hell? We do the Subgenius Church page on Facebook, and Nug is an admin on the church page like I am. And one of the old timers tried to give him a bunch of shit because he didn't automatically approve his post, which was probably like a repeat. Like people always try to put that little kid tied down to a cross anti-masturbation thing that everybody has seen like 1,000 times, and then they get all everybody but you, and then you go.
Are you talking about TV and art?
I'm not talking about.
That's
anything.
a pretty good description of that website, right? I think
so. Yeah, that sounds exactly like that website.
So they can't masturbate.
Correct, but man, dude, it's not. Do you ever get mixed up when you order Japanese food and then you call it Chinese, and then you? Hey,
no, I've never been racist.
I was asking if it was racist. You didn't have to confirm it so quickly.
Condemned.
All right, let's go get the SJ dubs. Sick them on Pete.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna let you guys carry the weight for.
Oh yeah.
Then he dropped out of existence halfway through a word.
Oh Peas, wherefore art thou?
Oh Peas and tanks you.
So yeah, these are some pretty cool pictures of these weird space shuttle documents. Secret government.
They're pretty cool.
How did you happen to come across it?
That's a really fun story, actually. I got to tell it for the second time yesterday, and now I get to tell it for the third time today. So it was a great adventure. I have a friend whose dad used to be an engineer for Ford and NASA. He did both sides of the thing, So he was heavily involved with every project up until he left NASA. And I think if I remember correctly, he was in the Air Force, and then he went into the private industry. And then after NASA, I'm not sure what he did. He might have just retired and just had all that money for a long time. But it's pretty cool. I met him. He was a really cool dude. He was my friend's dad. My friend is like 50, so his dad was probably around 90 or so, maybe 70, 80. Who knows? I don't know people's age by looks, so I try not to super guess. I'm pretty off 90% of the time. But yeah, so I knew he was, he was a part of that stuff. So I went and I was like, well, do you have anything really cool? And he was like, yeah, I do, actually. Here, maybe you might appreciate these. And he showed me the booklets, right?
Yeah.
And so he was like,
these booklets are just, for those of you in the listening audience, these booklets are amazing. First of all, they're covered in a gold gild on the side of the pamphlet part of it. And they are probably the size of a small Volkswagen van. So they are, when they show something inside, 1 foot actually equals 1 foot on all of the diagrams.
Let me just ask you a question. There's one here that says programming, and it looks like, I don't know if this was true back then, but maybe it's changed, but back then it looks like the programmers all had about 4 or 5 arms.
Yes, that's absolutely true. They had to biologically engineer people before we had enough computers for people to properly do things.
And it looks like he's using a small bird as some kind of input.
Oh yeah, he's screaming into it so that it takes notes for him.
Yeah. Strange tales of the history of computer programming.
Yep.
You know what pisses me off?
What?
Well, so I don't know what the sushi situation is like for where you guys are, okay?
It's terrible. I'm in the desert, just like you.
Well, here's the thing. I go to a bunch of different sushi places, and every place has got a different menu. And there's no conformity to it. Like what you call a Lisa roll at one place, it could be a totally different roll at another place. And what I don't understand...
I want the Lisa roll, please. All right, cool. That's the only one that's vegan. You must be woke, bro.
What? How can it be vegan? It's supposed to have crab. But this is my point. this is where I feel the government should step in, and there should be an ISO, numbered thing for sushi. And no matter where you go in the country, if they call it a sexy time roll, you should know what's in that roll. It shouldn't be able to be different from place to place.
Should establish a National Institute of Standards.
Correct, for sushi rolls. For sushi rolls. Because they have it. Listen, in all fairness, the regular sashimi, they seem to have pretty good names for all that stuff. That's pretty uniform. But it's the rolls. It's the custom rolls that's always different.
Yeah. 90% of them are just imitation food anyway.
Well, I've heard from actual Japanese people that this is not what they eat.
Yeah. It's a lot different.
That we put a lot more sauce and stuff in there, and it's just, well, who would know,
Yeah.
It's not like any of us are Japanese. Call these people and say, hey, what's this shit you're serving? They didn't sell this in Nippon.
Hey, bro, what is this? Well, I was lucky and actually had a Japanese...
Hey, bro.
There was a Japanese immigrant that owned an actual sushi place near my house. And her husband always made sure it was, actual legit sushi. It was really nice. It was really fresh, really good quality. I lived right on the bay at the time, so it was like really good.
I would like sushi more if I liked fish.
Yeah, that really helps.
I thought that was gonna be a much funnier joke. I really did. You ever have one lined up in the chamber and you think it's gonna kill?
They're out there laughing, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not.
I'm sure they're pissing. Wow. Can we say that on the radio?
No, you're not. You can't say.
You have to have Argus Fox if we can or not.
So are you broadcasting with your mouth full, Peas? I thought we talked about it.
No, what I do is I put you guys on mute, and then I run in the kitchen and I eat another, and then I come back.
Real fast, just
real super fast, dude.
Boom, boom.
And I can't even hear what you're saying, and take my cans off, and so it's and now I'm out of rum and coke. So, see, this is where having music in the show was super important, because then we could get up and get drinks, we get some frop going, we could listen to Fidd P. God rest Fidd in his penis. Poor
I really wish you could find out what happened to him. I mean, last time everybody knew. I mean, he was saturated in alcohol and oil with his face fully painted up like a clown.
All that told us is that it was Tuesday.
True.
I mean, it is Fidd Chuli we're talking about. So
Cosmac, did you happen to be at X Day in 2010 or 2012?
No, I was not.
Okay. There was someone with a similar name both times I went.
This is
and
what
they were different. They were a different person each time.
Okay, that I didn't know, but I did hear from. I think Stang mentioned that there was another Cosmac.
Yeah, he was a hefty dude. He had a huge beard. He was very loud, very abrupt, and he was constantly guzzling whiskey. Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, that might have been a minor in a movie, but this is neither here nor there.
A minor like working down in a mine, or a minor like?
No, like a 3-year-old with a full-fledged beard and screaming face.
Just like a real hard drinking toddler.
Exactly. He hit it so hard that his face got way older real fast.
Infants these days, huh?
Right? Genetic engineering, man. Put some GMOs in that alcohol. Good to go. Get those kids mature really quick. Next thing you know, they hit the age of 6 and they're screaming at their wives, throwing whiskey bottles.
You guys talking about Kentucky?
No, just general disillusion.
Tennessee.
Huh?
What? Huh?
Tennessee, then.
Well, if any of our listeners are drinking right now, and if they speak Klingon, they have to have the two at the same time. Yakluk-chuk.
Nice.
That's just a load of gah.
Dude, I'm just having some of this Marilyn Monroe and it is super good.
Is it like
tasting Marilyn Monroe's fish, huh?
Wait, is it Marilyn Monroe or is it Marilyn Monroe as in like got roe in it, like fish?
God damn it! I think it's roll, but either way would be acceptable in my book.
It would be, yeah.
Because I mean, you could do like the double whammy sushi fun. I don't know.
See, this is a kind of a fusion place where they mix Mexican and Japanese food together, so you have to be very careful that you don't order certain things.
That's pretty scary.
I'm not saying, hey, maybe it works, but they got this one roll, and I always want to try it, and then I realize, oh no, it's not wrapped in rice. They wrap it in a tortilla and then deep fry it. And I cannot bring myself to try that.
That sounds terrible.
It doesn't.
How does that qualify as sushi?
How does that qualify as food?
Yeah.
They have nagimi tostadas.
I wish I knew what that meant.
It's like just like a sashimi pokey type of mixture.
Pokey?
Yeah,
oh my
Pokey's...
god, they ground up Gumby's horse?
Poor Pokey.
Wow!
His little orange hoof sticking up above the pits as they ground him up.
A lot of people don't know this, but
Gumby,
Las Vegas is considered the 9th Hawaiian island because we have more Hawaiian people that live here outside of Hawaii than any place else in the country.
Wait, the
I
9th?
believe it.
That's absolutely true, dude. Yeah, you could look it up. It's the 9th island. That's what they call Las Vegas. And
next time I go up to Nellis, we need to meet up at some point.
Oh yeah, we should. I just work a few miles from there. Which part of Nellis? You know, Nellis encompasses like 4,000 square miles if you put all the pieces together. So, people have no idea how big stuff is out here. How just.
Oh, you should see how much of the state belongs to the government and is corned off.
Oh, dude, it's so irritating.
Amazing.
It's and well, of course, this whole Bundy situation is about that and the overreach of the Bureau of Land Management. And the federal government taking, what is basically the sovereign state of Nevada's. And when they take the land, people don't understand, oh, it's just a desert. There's nothing out there. There are tons of mineral. Nevada is still the largest. It's still the largest gold producer in the United States. And the difference being is that you literally have to have millions of dollars to mine gold here because it's so
and silver.
And silver is crazy.
Yeah.
But that's not counting minerals, copper, lead, tungsten,
meatstone,
uranium. Don't forget uranium.
So
Seriously, uranium.
Rock hammer.
Good stuff over there.
But I've been to the back gate at 51, and that's technically part of Nellis. I'm sure it falls under their jurisdiction at some level.
Well, before 1996, it didn't exist.
Well, before then, they didn't even acknowledge it existed. Now, my cousin, who I rent my house,
saying. It didn't exist. Yeah.
My cousin, who I rent my house from, he's not my cousin. He's my cousin's husband. I'm convinced that he works out there as a physical engineer. Like a facilities engineer type person.
Mm-hmm.
But because he's always giving me the same spiel you are, Bob. Oh, I couldn't tell you what I did. Whenever he meets a foreign national, he's got to fill out this fucking report. There's really no other place in Southern Nevada. That would be like a Frenchie or Brit.
So we're counting the tall whites as a national now.
Yeah, the foreign nationals.
We've officially made them a part of Earth.
There you go. But there's nowhere else in Southern Nevada that requires that kind of job requirements.
I heard the word Hawaiian Island in the background.
Zeta Rectuli is the 10th Hawaiian island.
Who are you? How did you get in my bathroom?
God damn it! He's
Dr. Nagasaki is now somewhat online.
So, dude,
that's better than not.
Tell me about your adventure today, adminning Alex Ochero.
Oh yeah. So apparently, so he complained that it was really hard.
That I was an asshole.
Well, no. he tried to make a post that it is really hard to get through the phalanx of admins to get horrible posts posted. That is added by the editor, the word horrible there. And so I deleted it because that's the funniest option I was presented with. It's funny that no, you cannot get anything posted in this group unless, of course, it's funny.
Gotta be funny, bro.
It's more detailed than that.
It doesn't have to be funny, but
it could be new. It could be Bob related. The thing that people don't get about the church page itself, Facebook, is I tried to say this the other day. It is the beginning of the rabbit hole. If you're going to go there and then stop, then you don't deserve nice things. Okay, because it's the beginning of the rabbit hole. And so a lot of times people, because it's where they start out as being a subgenius or whatever, they're reminiscing about their youth. They post some of the same shit that they'll post in stuff in 4chan or a bunch of other sites. And the thing about it is, everybody's already seen that stuff.
I delete everything that I see that's like, oh, that just comes from every weird Facebook group out there. I've seen that 2 months ago, 2 years ago, etc.
And I'm the same way. And we have a very low key, it's not even official. Nug may not even know this, but there are a lot of admins in that group. But most of them are honorary admins, like Douglas Smith and Philo and Dr. Hal are admins. But, those three guys themselves will do how much adminning?
Well, they got better things.
They're making shows and stuff. They have better things to do. But because it's their creation and stuff, they have admin things because if they need to step in and say, all right, I'm done. They should have that right to do that. It's their creative mythos that we all kind of dance off. But mostly how it goes is if somebody, if there's a post there and I'm like, I don't get it, or I'm not, or I just don't know if it's funny or not. I'll wait because GGG will look at it. He admins, Nug will look at it. Another guy will look at it. And then after a day, if nobody's approved that post gets shit canned because not one of the admins thought it was funny or knew enough to be in the thing. And it doesn't matter who you are in the church or how long, because that was Alex's whole thing. I've been in the church forever. Who am I to have my things? Well, dude, you're also in like 30 other groups. This is a group for new kids. This is where the new kids find out about the church to get to the other groups. Shut the fuck up.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I did like that he made an antagonistic post against me.
Yeah, and then I prove that one right away. Oh, that's good.
I would have too. I thought it was hilarious. It is a standard practice in many groups, however, if a lowly user is not allowed to block an admin.
Yeah, he should technically. You're not allowed to in that group. It's in the fucking rules, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I've never read the rules. I just enforce them.
Pisces, I think there's a lot of rules there that Pisces put in place, like the not adding people. When the thing got dumped onto me, I kind of kept some of those rules because I never adminned, a 6,000, 7,000 person page, of which now we all know there's only 19 real people on that page, but still, there's a bunch of thoughts. But so I kept this in there, but then after a while, 2 years. People were like, why can't we add people? And I'm thought, why the fuck can't you add people? So now how it goes is we have 3 questions and you don't even have to answer them real. But if you answer them at all, we know that you're a real person. You get approved. If you don't answer those questions in 24 hours, you get deleted. And it's worked out great because now we don't have people getting butthurt. And although I missed that.
Well, screaming at everybody.
Now, if somebody were to make a Ray-Bans joke, nobody would understand it unless they'd been around for a while.
Right. Right. Well, that was a big part of the whole club that we had for a couple years. Ray-Bans, just different things that we did in that whole genre. It was like a nightclub. But that only worked, and everybody. This is the thing. In that group. Every single member of that group, and there was at its heyday, it was close to 300, was an admin. So you could override somebody. You could cause total fucking mayhem if you wanted to.
Oh,
nobody ever really did until the very, very end.
Yeah, I played a role in that. Did I ever tell you that?
Mm-mm.
So do you remember when I think it was Victor Chopula or something like that got started flaming the group like crazy, and then the group got deleted and rebooted?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he was
How's
mad
it-
because somebody deleted his post.
Well, they had the crybaby thing now, and him and Doc, the guy who lived in Germany or whatever, the homeless guy in Germany. If that was indeed a real person and not Frog Chopula,
Right?
you know, who knows? You never know. It seemed like too smart of a character for Victor to pull off, though.
Huh.
Um,
Is he the same guy that got turned away from X Day?
He is.
All right.
And
Whoa.
for the second year in a row, and he was told this year before he went by me, dude, I don't think it's a good idea that you go. I didn't tell him not to go, but I said, you know, you were banned last year, nothing has changed. I wouldn't go, and he went anyway, and then was real surprised. Stang wouldn't let him in. There's a backstory to that, though. He thinks it's because Stang doesn't have Slack, and forgets to tell people is that he called Stang's personal number. I don't know how he got a hold of it, but he called him like in a 24-hour period. He called him like 40 times, and then he sent him like 60 emails. And he thought all that crybaby thing, and he thought he's being funny. And I tried to explain to him. I said, dude, you know. I said, you gotta understand something. Stang has surrounded himself with all these crazy people his entire life, but he also knows when to get scared. And I said, you scared him. I said, that's not, you know, 10 times, that's maybe funny. 15 times, 40 times, dude. I mean, he called me up. Stang calls me too. Can you do anything about this? I cannot, Doug. I cannot do anything about it. He is an uncontrolled person.
Damn. Scary people.
But
you
like,
gotta think about the people that Stang has met in his life. When he decides that he's pulling the plug on somebody and just I'm not dealing with it, you know that person's crossed the line. It's not because Doug Smith has gotten tired of having funny people around him. It's because you did something so weird that in the course of 40 years, it's something he's goes, nope, I'm not having none of that shit. Nope.
that kind of reminds me
Something
of.
that he's gonna remember for a while.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of a story I don't know. So I met Janer Hypercleats at a reggae festival one time, and he didn't know why he was there either.
Excuse me, sorry.
And so we ended up hustling our way back on pocket change to the Bay Area. Reggae on the River, if you've ever heard of it, up in somewhere up in Humboldt County, I think, maybe Mendocino. And I never quite understood how he became estranged, or if he just did it himself. I know that he's a running joke, but I'm not in on the joke, so I've always wondered.
From the church,
That name sounds familiar. I was heavily involved on the Facebook junk for a while.
Yeah,
And
well,
That name
Janer
sounds
seems to have,
familiar, but
Janer seems to have been estranged long before the Facebook type thing. He might have been
exactly.
involved in the email world.
He's,
yeah. The Google
because
Club,
I'm pretty new to the church. I've only been in the church and doing stuff. I want to say, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years now.
Sure. He was on
He was one of the big guys in the early days, I think, doing revivals and stuff. But he like you said, he burned his bridges with some really big time people. Because Philo talks about him in a fairly, respectable way. But I think that and I can't speak for Philo, but I just know one of the other guys that does a radio show. He won't have anything to do with them, and they were really good friends. They might even have been intimate. I don't know.
Don't pick fights with the admins.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy.
But I've never heard any of his stuff. I probably should look it up because everybody. Yeah, I went to Florida one time, and people have talked to me about Janer, and
Janer's on one of the very first musical compilations. He has at least told.
Is he like a tall, skinny white guy?
We're all tall, skinny white guys, dude.
He's not
I'm
skinny
just a
anymore.
short, fat white guy.
He is however doing his own thing as a Mr. TV. He's kind of a busker He has a
Yeah.
emptied out television, and he does live
Boxing.
television.
Philo made that for him. Philo Drummond made that for him.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I dig it. It's very pun heavy. A lot of groaners, or at least it was about 10 years ago.
It's like one of those things you'd see back in the day where a guy would put a refrigerator box up and he'd sit in there with his trumpet and he'd be like, living jukebox, and you'd give him $1, he'd play anything for a couple minutes, or he'd fake it till he'd make it. But this is the same concept, but like Nug said, it's a television.
Yeah, it's great, but it doesn't work at a reggae festival.
I don't know when it's worked since Lucy and Ethel did it in the I Love Lucy show in 1957. So that's the thing. I personally think it's a great concept and all stuff, but Lucy McGillicuddy, as she liked to be known, did that already in the I Love Lucy show. If you think about it, I can't remember what episode.
So it's been tested. Good.
Yeah,
it's been
they broke the TV and then they tried to play it off.
Yeah, they tried to play it off.
Oh, man. I loved it. It was God, I'll never forget that because that was the first time I ever saw that gag.
Yeah. Oh, here we got on our Discord thing here. Okay, so listen, the hour's coming up here. I think we're gonna go short tonight. We talked about this because we didn't have any music, and we're coming up in the hour. So I want to make sure that I give a shout out to all of our Patreons. We have 5 Patreons now. We're getting thousands of dollars being pledged by each one. It's crazy. I can't wait for the checks to clear. We're gonna be. I don't have the list in front of me, but each and every one of you is dear to my heart. And my lack of knowing who you are is in no way a besmirch upon the money that you're giving us. That is always going to be really, really what means the most. This is Free Think Radio. It's time for the show. My guests tonight have been Bob Dapper, Cosmac of Jersey, Nagaski. What's your last name, dude? You guys got to introduce yourselves. Don't make Peas carry the weight of pronouncing people's names.
I am the Dr. Nugget LD's Doctor of...
He's a fabulous flute
and
player.
Pope of Denton.
Yeah, you want to have a surrealistic experience. You're walking around tripping a little bit at X Day, and everything is pure dark, and there's some lasers flashing on the stage. Everybody's about ready to crash, and you hear this beautiful flute playing, and you think for a minute... You think, man, I am really spinning hard. And you're not spinning hard. It's Nug up on stage playing the flute, man. It was a great memory for me.
Yeah, back in 2012 when I last went was I had taken my concertina, which I had just got, and I sat down and started squeezeboxing it. Oh yeah. Well, man, when you're a time pirate, you got to get some cool piratey things.
Time pirate, I like that.
But yeah, so I was sitting there just jamming out to that, and then suddenly some dude with a ukulele came up, started jamming, and I was like, whoa, he's going along with my music, and I wrote this song. This is fucking great. And then I was like, wait a minute, did I write this song? And then I asked him, I said, hey, do you know this song? And he goes, no, I'm just going off of what you're doing. And I'm like, holy shit, this guy's talented.
So I do happen to have my patrons' names. So we're going to run through them real quick. It's a delightful ukulele flute story, by the way. That's tears to my eyes. We have caller 23, who's our patron. He's a 50,000 plus a year contributor, which we really appreciate that. We have a Pinord, APO Apostony X Ford, very good friend of mine. She is at the $30,000 reward level, which of course gets you a larger mess and your personal meme. We have Adrian Brush. I didn't know that's how you pronounced his last name. Rhett Ottman and Keith Meredith, all giving so much that I can't even say it on the radio. Because it's a dollar amount not to be discussed amongst regular people. If you don't know what they're contributing, you probably can't afford to match their level. So that's important stuff to know. That's pretty much going to be the show, unless I get any other, last minute thoughts. Let me go check to see if I have any.
How about some X-Day stories?
X-Day stories? Man, my Marilyn Monroe is really getting warm, man. So,
I think those Marilyn Monroe are getting ready to hatch.
well, it's a great question. I wished I knew the answer. Because either way is perfect. It's just delightful. And here's my thing. You guys segued me out of this bit. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna finish my Hawaiian story. Las Vegas is considered the 9th island, and because of that, we have so many Hawaiians here. They've brought to the desert this delightful fermented fish called poke. And what they do is they take raw fish, tuna, different types of fish. Usually it's tuna though. They cube it up into little pieces, and then they put some like soy sauce, fermenting stuff, and it cooks a little bit in that. But for the most part, it's like raw fish salsa. That's the way to think of it, and it's actually pretty good. Yeah. You see the food though. It's like if you go eat at a Hawaiian restaurant and you see the portions, you understand why those guys are all like 600 pounds the minute they turn 23. They are beautiful people, both the men and women of Hawaii and the Samoas, most of the island, the Pacific Island nations. They are beautiful people till they get to be about 23, and then they put on 300 pounds from all the taro and stuff that they eat, and you cannot believe that those were the delightful island nymphs that you partake of their nectar with just a scant few years earlier. And you change your name to, if you're a boy, you change your name to Junior. And if you're a girl, we just call you Auntie or Mom.
Yep.
So, I went to Oceanside High School in California. This is the second largest Samoan population outside of Samoa itself. And and all of my little Samoan friends were all named Junior. They'd be one of 14 kids, but their name would be Junior if they were. But that's it.
Fantastic name.
That's a good name. This is Nevada Peas. I'm signing out. It's a great show. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Nug. Thanks, Cosmac. It's a great doing show with you. Thanks, Dr. Fox, Dr. RxQ Fox, for coming out of his sickbed and producing the show for us and flipping the dials and turning the knobs and letting us have our way with an audience. Because, it's not radio if somebody doesn't cry at the end and have to take the walk up the shame hole.
All right, Peas, apologize.
No, I will not.
But you made him cry.
I won't. It's not the first time he'll cry. It only stings a little at first.
At the beginning.
At the beginning. Then the shame comes. Well, usually we would get some kind of signal.
Just keep talking till we know.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still doing radio after all.
He's alive.
I feel so bad for him, dude. He's gonna be so sick. Not even.
He's dead.
He's sick yet. Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Love y'all. We'll see you next week on It's Time for the Show on Free Think Radio.
Bye, Peas. Go eat your food.
I am gonna eat my food. And I'm gonna take.
Go, come on.
Bye.
Come on.